welcome to Love Island, the Morning After podcast, the only official Love Island podcast. Last night was emotional. I was emotional. We literally all watched in silence. Scott, we really do salute you.
What a week it is going to be on the podcast. There's a lot of action going on the villa and there'll be a lot of discussion here on the pod because we have the wonderful Joe Baggs back with us for the whole week alongside myself, Amy Hart, and the wonderful Indiyah Polack.
Yes, Joe, how have you found the season so far?
It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Ups, downs, left, rights, tears as well. But that's the way the cookie crumbles on planet Earth.
Naughty.
There we go. It's been really good though. I've been really enjoying it. Really enjoying it.
I think we should get into it.
Hit me.
I don't want this to be sad, guys. I've made a decision to leave, man. I just think it's right time, but I've had the best time ever. I don't want everyone to be sad, man. I'm in a good place about it. Every single one of you is amazing. I know we've had our little rows in here, but we're a family and I don't hold anything against anyone or blame anyone. It's just my thing. Yeah, I'm at peace with it, man.
Love you so much.
So sorry, T.
Unexpectedly, the biggest story of last night's episode was Scott leaving.
Yes.
I didn't think we'd be starting this episode with a departure, but here we are. So after the recoupling, he obviously pulled Tina to one side and said to her, like, I meant everything I said in the speech. However, you're not the one for me. I can kiss and cuddle you in bed all the time, but it's never going to go any further, so I don't want to lead you on. And then all hell broke loose.
I don't understand what is missing from Tina. I don't understand what's missing from Indiyah either. Like, if you're not happy, Scott, then go home, babe, because you could have done all of this at home.
Listen, I will go home.
But I don't understand. She's crying. Indiyah was crying, babe. It's unfair.
Elma came up, being a girl's girl, but we could tell that she was also quite passionate about the situation. Obviously, she kind of feels like it was her right to tell him what to do, especially because it was in her hands last who she sent home.
I think, though, I might be wrong. Obviously, some people have said, oh, maybe, like, if she liked him that much, maybe she should go with him or whatever it was, like in series 3.
Yeah.
But I think last night may have been the first time it's actually been an intervention and someone has been told to leave by the other islanders. Normally it's people going, no, don't leave, stay here.
I know.
You never know what's going to happen.
And he was agreeing as well.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I'll go tomorrow. And then he actually went.
Yeah.
So I know that Elma's feeling guilty about sending her friends home, but she's also sent someone else home.
Yeah.
She is the Grim Reaper of the villa. If
She
you wake up
is.
to Elma at the end of your bed in a black cloak.
Yeah, a
It's
black
like
dressing
to go.
gown.
Yeah, black dressing gown.
Maybe she needs a producing credit now, considering she's determining the cast list. But I do feel really awful for Scott. And I feel like he's just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of girls in the villa also blame the guys sometimes and say that your intentions aren't there and you're not sticking by your word. And I think that it's refreshing that he's been honest and upfront.
Yeah.
But I get why Elma's just thought, well, no one's sticking up for Tina.
Yeah.
She's, down bad, feeling it. So I'm just going to go in there all guns blazing. But I think she calmed down by the end.
Yeah, Luca said, didn't he? You all want honesty until you get it in,
But no
in,
one
the,
wants to
in
hear the
life.
truth,
Yeah,
innit?
ignorance is
None of us
bliss. A lot of people have
Yeah.
said, that's good that he's articulated his feelings like that and he's let her go now. I'm like, no. String me along till the end of the series and dump me when I haven't got to live in a house away from my friends and family. Ignorance is bliss on my part, but maybe not for Tina and Scott.
Unpopular
Yeah.
opinion, but where he said, I'll kiss and cuddle you, but that's
Yeah.
where it goes. Kiss and cuddle me to the end of the season.
Yeah,
I don't care. Spoon me in bed
Yeah.
every night, whisper sweet nothings into my ear.
Yeah.
Just keep me going.
don't make me cry on the telly.
Don't make me dress in all black and mourn this relationship.
The black hair bow was inspired.
It was a lot.
I
It was.
loved it.
Yeah, same.
She said that she felt stupid and that she felt like she'd wasted 2 weeks on being loyal to him. And I know a lot of people on the outside will go, 2 weeks, you've wasted 2 weeks of your life. But it feels so long. And also those 2 weeks were in the middle of the series. It's a very high octane period of time. It's when people are coupling and recoupling and decoupling and there's bombshells coming in and stuff. And we don't know what's going to happen in the next sort of 2 and a bit weeks, but that was the sort of real high octane bit. And she did use it being loyal to him. I mean, I can relate to her when she says she feels so stupid because I felt very stupid in my series when this happened to me. What do we think for that?
I feel like it's obviously natural to feel rejected, especially
Yeah.
because she has been getting to know him.
Yeah.
She literally put all her eggs in Scott's basket. But I can maybe come from an opinion where I was kind of on the opposite side to you. I didn't get rejected, but I cut it off with somebody and it was after 2 weeks. So I kind of felt like, okay, I'm wasting my time actually being in a situation that I know is not going to go any further and I could potentially end up hurting somebody or just not staying true to myself. Yeah. And I feel like probably that's what Scott has done. And I think it was hard to watch, but like Omar was saying, it's easy to hear but hard to accept.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. He would have ended up hurting Tina in the long run anyway.
I don't think Tina should beat herself up about it either, because it wasn't anything that either of them did. It just didn't work out. And sometimes that's just life. And unfortunately, she just, those were her cards this time around in the villa.
She's been dealt the Scott card twice. And both times it's turned out to be a joker.
I was about to say
well, I got there first.
You got the punchline.
I got the punchline.
No, it's not about her. And I think I can kind of believe that it's not about her because, I don't know, from watching Scott in there, he does seem like he probably just has something else in his mind and he does seem like maybe right now isn't his time to find love.
Do you know what I think it is? He's a little bit older. When they had the disagreement last week, obviously his age was brought up quite a bit.
Yes.
And I think he feels like he needs to set an example that whoever he meets now is probably going to be the person he marries.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of pressure and that's maybe guiding his decisions. I think he's overthinking it a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that hopefully with him leaving now, he'll have a bit of time to relax and focus on what's next for him.
And even with his age, you think also him being 36 and some of the people in the villa have said that to him, like, you should know what you want by now.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, well, I am 36. I know I don't know what I want. And not everyone is going to know what they want at 36, but I think he has realised that Love Island is not where he's going to find the love of his life for the rest of his life, which is okay.
Obviously, I left in a different way to Scott, but, you know, I still gathered everyone at the fire pit. You know, that great moment where everyone cries and you feel like a West End star.
Yeah.
But when I went into Love Island, I thought the hinge of my life was going to be before Love Island and after Love Island. And I thought that day that I went in the villa was going to be like the start of like the after Love Island thing. But actually being in the villa turned out to be a sort of middle of the road bit. A little slip road, shall we say, from my old life to my new life. And I did say, I need to leave the villa today and go and start the rest of my life. And I think people will, again, think that he's being dramatic where he says, oh, I need to go out and like the next one's going to be my wife and stuff. But it does give you such like a moment of clarity. And I was like, the next chapter of my life starts when I get home.
Yeah.
And I did sort of hit the ground running. And that was the next chapter of my life. And I think it's really great that he's decided to leave on his own terms. He hasn't been dumped from the villa.
Yeah.
He's done his goodbye. He's made his peace with Tina, that really lovely bit where they were on the sun deck together. He's like left the villa. And it's all very nice leaving in the afternoon as well, because you can have a lovely night's sleep and wake up the next day and know that he's made the right decision.
Yeah.
I was so terrified of going to sleep that night because I thought if I wake up tomorrow and regret it, what have I done? And I had the best night's sleep I'd had in months. And I woke up and thought, this is the best thing ever. So I'm really excited for him to start the next chapter of his life, like today.
I feel like he did the same as well. He must have slept on that the night before after he told Elma, I will go.
Yes.
And I feel like you could definitely tell with the way that he conveyed himself that it was well thought out and he's not going to regret this. Even his chat with Maya afterwards, he was very like, mind made up. But good on him because he didn't let anyone down and he didn't let himself down and he was very honest from the get-go, which I think is important because there are some people in there that are playing games.
Yes, actually.
And they're loving the game.
Yeah. And I feel like all of this energy should be...
Not the segue.
You know what? Nobody should be, told what to do or anything.
No.
But I do think there is someone who has gotten off a little lightly for their actions last night. And that is...
Curtis Pritchard.
It is Curtis Pritchard.
Well, if it wasn't for Scott leaving, I feel like they would have been doubling down.
Scott walked so Curtis could run.
Yeah.
Do you
Hart.
away.
Do you think when Scott left, he thought, oh God, my big bold moves last night have been overshadowed. And really, he should be thinking, thank God Scott took up the second half of the episode.
I'm going to go with my heart and with my gut. The person I am going to couple up with is Ekin.
I've got a little bit of a theory. Naz was saying about, because Curtis had said in the cliffhanger, I've gone with my heart and my gut.
Heart and your gut.
Yeah, I've gone with my heart and my gut. And he said they're not the same thing. They're not in the same place. However, maybe when Ekin said, I don't want anything to do with you ever again, maybe his heart sank
into his
gut. So then he went with his heart and his gut that were together.
How can you go with your heart and your gut are two very different feelings? Yeah, like
one's irrational and one isn't.
Yes, you've got your head, which is like your rational.
Your rational.
This will be good for me. You've got your heart, which is
pure
it's probably
emotion.
not going to be good for me, but this is what I want to do. And your gut, is that like impulsive?
Yes.
And we had a whole weekend to wait, so that was not impulsive.
Yeah.
Like, we had to wait from Friday to Sunday, so that was not impulsive.
I think your gut is usually the right thing to do. Your head is like the rational, smart thing to do, but your gut is like, it's got a bit of both.
The gut
so
never
it's
lies.
like the right thing to do.
He needs a probiotic then. Or a prebiotic. He needs something.
Yeah,
he needs some sort of gut health.
He needs an assessment. That's what he needs.
Yeah. I wasn't shocked. I think he should have given it a go with Danielle. Maybe he was a little bit worried what might happen to the actual villa if he didn't pick Ekin. Like,
no, but Ekin would have been fine.
Do you think?
I'm pretty sure Ekin would have been fine. Honestly, to be fair, I don't think Ekin was expecting Curtis to pick her. I feel like Ekin knows a lot about what's going on in the villa, but that she did not expect to happen.
she was starting to look at Ron and think, okay.
Looking at Omar, like, maybe we can have a conversation. Like, Ekin was ready to move on.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going through Curtis's mind, but I just think it was a little bit out of order how he really did lead Danielle on. He told her a lot of sweet nothings, then turn around and be like, look, I handled this really badly. I could have just been honest. But it's like, this is twice now. You're realising your actions.
The thing is, maybe he went away from all the drama going on and thought, him and Ekin are such polarising, massive personalities in that villa.
Yeah.
And they're almost like tastemakers for the mood in the entire villa. If they would have stayed apart, it just would have erupted into some form of chaos just because of the way they are. So I do think it's better that they're back together. It's entertaining. Do I think it's like an actual fully fledged, long-lasting relationship that's committed? No, especially after they got back together and he was like, I'll let you know next time if I fancy a bombshell. Like, the whole thing is not giving to me. But I'm happy they're back together. Because I feel like it kind of restores balance in the villa. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get you. And with whoever's in the villa right now, I cannot imagine either of them with other people. Obviously, I know Danielle is there, but really and truly, I can't really quite put my finger on what kind of situation Ekin and Curtis have, but it's something that I just can't see.
It didn't feel right in the gut.
Yeah, I can't see that with anyone else. Like, they understand each other in this unconventional way, like talking about mums and then going into snogging.
Yeah.
They're like pantomime characters.
They really are.
And a pantomime needs two good leads.
It does.
So that's where we're at.
The villa antics have been a roller coaster of emotions so far, but one thing that's for certain, the Islanders' pre-loved eBay fits are going to be fire. On our first date of the series, the roots of love were blossoming for Ekin-Su and Curtis. She was a vision in a rat and boa cord previously worn by Mimi, Jessica and Grace. And seriously, her accessories got us thinking, is there any date without a Prada wicker bag? From the floral detailing to Ekin's red nails, the way they matched the hearts on Curtis's CP company shirt, it was giving certified lover girl. And after a tough week, Luca and Kaz finally met their matches in Bombshell's Grace and Ron during the recoupling. Both ladies embodied the it girl aura, with Kaz wearing an Escada denim jacket and Grace dripping in pre-loved Karen Millen, I Am Gia and a Do You Wanna Be blazer. Heads were certainly turning. Can't wait for even more fire pit flirting, fab fits and action from the villa. Shop your next villa-inspired look on eBay. Headline sponsor of Love Island. I think Danielle is right to say that it's done now, though.
Absolutely.
And I loved it when she went, they're weirdos.
She also handled it with grace,
She did.
decorum. Also, she was like, don't give me advice on what I do with Ron. Who are you to give advice? Which, to be fair, like, good on her. Yeah, she's got a good head on her shoulders, Danielle, so I really like her.
Yeah, I think she'll be all right.
I feel like Curtis would have been a bit put out when Scott left and said to Luca, you're the man of the house now. I'm the dad of the house.
Yeah,
I'm the dad of the house.
I know, he makes everyone coffee, so...
Yeah, I think Danielle and Curtis has done that, which I think is a bit sad because I do think when they used to have their chats...
He seemed very happy with her.
He seemed very happy with her. And I think he's a people pleaser. And I think she was sort of... We keep using the term collateral damage all series. It's been a series full of collateral damage.
That's actually a really good way to put it.
Danielle is new to the villa. She's not a massive player in the villa. She doesn't hold a lot of status within the villa.
So she was like easy collateral.
Easy collateral damage to be like, okay, see ya. Whereas with Ekin, like you say, Ekin and Curtis split up, that potentially causes a divide in the villa. If it then comes to Islanders having to vote other Islanders off, or people siding with Ekin. They've had this connection from the start, trying to build new connections while your old connection's still there. Very hard as well. So I think it was probably the correct decision for him to pick Ekin, just like you say, to restore balance.
I also just don't think that they think rationally. I think that they wake up and go, ip, dip, do.
I like you.
Yeah, and Curtis was sat there and I think he rides on that feeling of being naughty. And I think that he knew he was being naughty. He knew Ekin was walking for naughty.
Naughty.
And I think that genuinely, he's then like, okay, next morning he wakes up, pushed it a bit far, get back with Ekin. I genuinely feel like there's no actual rationale going on.
Yeah,
I also love it. And I feel like it's great viewing.
It was the B-roll for me, the fire pit B-roll. So Curtis has picked Ekin. Then he's in that thing where he was like laid back with his head in his hand, like looking like he's about to. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Then he proceeded to justify his decision with a very loud whisper, which everyone could likely hear.
Around the fire pit.
A stage whisper, very pantomime. And then like was like laughing and clapping and like you just humiliated this girl. She's put everything on the line for you. She's come in as a bombshell. She's basically annoyed quite a lot of people. She's like done that all for you because she thinks she's got a chance with you because you've told her she has.
Yeah.
Like, pick Ekin, sit down, shut up, put your head down.
I hope this is it now.
Yeah.
I think he's got 2 weeks left. And I think this is literally a case of what we actually know now of Curtis is that he makes a decision, he doesn't really quite do it with his heart, and then he goes back on himself because he's a people pleaser and he doesn't want to upset somebody.
Yeah.
And I think if it was a thing where he knew Ekin wouldn't be upset, he could have well actually just went with Danielle. But I think he's scared to upset Ekin. And I think if this was a case where he knew he wouldn't be upsetting Ekin or causing an imbalance, he could have well stayed with Danielle.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, Danielle isn't a huge player, so it's like the lesser of two evils who to upset. Do you know what I mean? And in this case, it is Danielle.
I wouldn't want to upset Ekin-Su. As she said tonight, she's not a princess, she's a queen.
She's a queen.
Queen of the villa.
Queen.
And you don't upset the queen. Otherwise your head goes.
I was about to say, off with the head.
I'm definitely attracted to you. The spark that we had from when we had that conversation, I definitely want it to continue. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. You also know I'm attracted to you. And I feel like you actually have good qualities. Like, from what I've seen, like the small little stuff, you know.
Gentleman.
So as a result of the recoupling, we've also got a new couple.
We do.
Catherine and Omar.
Yes.
Comar, is that their new name?
Comar, we like that.
Obsessed with that.
Yeah. First time Catherine has been picked for a bit of loving and not in a friendship couple by Naz. She had a full start with Montel and now she's finally, hopefully got someone that is really interested in her.
Yeah.
What do we think of them as a couple?
Love them as a couple.
Yeah.
I have said this whole season, justice for Catherine, and I don't feel like she's had a good start in there. So I'm hoping that this blossoms into something really lovely. Because I do think he will have a straying eye for Grace as much as we're all trying to ignore this at the moment. Which I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I don't know. It was so intense and passionate last season with Grace and Omar that I'm like, well, surely that doesn't just like disappear.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was when he first came in, I was also thinking, oh gosh, he's going to go for Grace. But they did have a conversation and Grace very quickly shut that down. So I think even if he wanted to, there'd be no point and he'd be wasting his time. And also it's one of those things where they did speak on the outside.
I want what's best for Catherine. And she was so happy when Montel went in and I genuinely thought they were going to hit it off.
Yeah.
And then I just really hope it's not another full start for her because we don't have many more left in us.
We don't.
There's not many more bombshells that can go in and
Unless they
give her
send
that
her on some
experience.
sort of speed dating with all the former boys of
Do you know
Casa
what I
Amor.
mean?
Like literally all like 60 Casa Amor boys that didn't get picked.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like ding, ding, ding.
That is horrible. I think with Catherine, I think she really wants to be in a position where someone comes in first time and it's for her.
She deserves
and
that.
She deserves that.
Yeah.
And so far it's been promising with Omar. So I hope he actually keeps that, you know, and I wish there was more options for Catherine.
So do I.
Yeah, until then, we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope that this is actually going to go somewhere well.
I'm just glad she's out of the friendship couple.
Yeah.
Because that was painful
Yeah.
to
She
watch.
might even get a snog.
Yep.
But you say about Grace, I don't think we've got to worry about Grace
No,
and Omar
not at all.
because Grace and Luca, they have all of each other.
You know, you're my person in here and like I do see something happening on the outside of you.
I can't wait for the outside with you. We're going to have so much fun. Who would have thought?
Never. You have got all of me.
You've got all of me.
They had a very deep and meaningful chat. They're both what each other have been looking for their whole lives.
It's gotten really deep between them.
I feel like this season has really changed my opinion of Luca.
Okay.
Just because I just wasn't really a huge fan of him from his season, and seeing him be emotional and vulnerable and open and in tune with his feelings and lovely to Grace, I'm like, I actually think he's a really lovely man.
Yeah.
there's just something about them two together. And I'm like, will this last on the outside? I don't know. Because he seems like a bit like a homebody.
Yeah.
But I hope it works.
Luca as well, it's probably like, second time's a charm. So people don't want to be like the first time that they were in there. They want to be different. They want to give things a new go. They might want to go outside their type.
Some more effective than others.
Some more effective than others.
Exactly that.
Yeah, even like watching Luca, he's completely different from when he was in my season personally.
So open vocally, which
a lot
he
more
wasn't
vulnerable.
before. Yeah.
The boys have been crying this season, which I'm not mad about at all.
Neither.
So yeah,
it's actually refreshing
different.
to see a lot of guys crying. Because in the normal seasons, I think that in the normal seasons, in the pedestrian seasons,
Civilian Love Island.
I feel like the guys have their guard up because they've never done telly before and they are worried about how they'll be perceived. So it's actually refreshing to see a season where people are going in and really opening up. So yeah, I hope I eat my words and I hope they do make it on the outside.
Yeah. Last night, after the whole drama of the recoupling, Danielle was very upset, but then we did see that she did get chosen by Ron. Now, they are a hot new couple on the block. Danielle did make it clear to Ron, look, I don't want you to feel like second best because that just wasn't the case.
Technically third best.
Technically. Do we think that this is something...
Sorry.
Do we think that this is something that could blossom? You know, Ron said that she does deserve to be picked. She's beautiful and that he wholeheartedly wants to get to know her.
Yeah, I think it could be. He's a nice guy. He's very chilled. So is she, by the sounds of things. And I think where she's been in this very high drama triangle, everyone's zip-zapping around the garden, having chats and arguments and kisses and chats and arguments and kisses and stuff. I think she's actually going to really relish lying on a sunbed and talking to Ron about life.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that if we psychologically break this one down, I feel like the type of personality that Curtis is deep down without some of the theatrics we've seen is that he's a very, as you said, people pleaser. He likes to be the nice guy, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like Ron's very like that. So I think that as much as they didn't click initially, I think that Ron might be a good type that she seems to go for. So maybe she'll give Ron a chance and then she'll kind of have the journey in Love Island that she wanted to have, that she could have had with Curtis, maybe if Ekin wasn't there. So I think that they're quite similar personalities as much as Ron isn't kind of as polarising as Curtis.
Ron isn't really on a mission. You know?
No,
like Ron is there, he's cruising, he's letting love, find him.
Naz gave him his all-inclusive wristband.
Whereas I feel like Curtis is on a mission. He's like, okay, love aside, I've got to do this, and that, you know? So I feel like he's also put some pressure onto himself, whereas Ron's just...
I think it's nice that Ron's quite chill because I feel like she'll ride off that chillness, like you said, and she'll be like, okay, we can just sit and have a convo and not have to look over my shoulder if Ekin stood there.
She's quite chill herself, to be fair, Danielle. Like, she doesn't strike me as one that loves drama. She did say it at the start very much. She does not like the drama or the conflict. So maybe it was good that she actually removed herself from that situation.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like the type that has really wanted to be in that triangle. I know no one wants to be in a triangle, but she's really been like, don't even talk to me, this is a lot. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Joe, for joining us this morning. We cannot wait to have you here all week with us, getting all of your opinions.
Yep, and you can catch us on YouTube, your favourite podcast provider app, and ITVX.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.